Felix wasn't necessarily giving me like, yeah, I'm into Oliver. That's what Oliver was giving. But honestly, Felix was giving me, if you try on the right night, we might. You know, why do I have to come to you begging? You know how this look, right? Because I'm the black family member. Baby, the way Felix reacted aghast, like, we never even noticed your curly hair. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be discussing the movie Saltburn. I am here because I finally got around to watching the movie Saltburn that everybody and their mama have been talking about. Okay, I'm late to the party. I gotta be honest. Everybody has been talking about this movie, but I could care less. Like, it was not on my radar. It just wasn't my cup of tea. When I heard everybody talking about this movie Saltburn, I looked it up and I saw the genre and I was just like, meh, not interested. The synopsis, meh, not interested. But it has been talked about so much, and I am one of those people where if something is just really hyped, eventually I get around to watching it like, you know what, let me see what this movie is all about. So I put Saltburn on, like, okay, let me see what this movie is all about. And even with all the hype and talk about this movie, I was successfully able to avoid any spoilers. But I did not go in as blind as I normally like to, as the queen of not watching movie trailers. Okay, I haven't watched a trailer for a new movie, man, like a year and a half. I don't know, it's been a minute. But honestly, I watched the trailer for Saltburn before watching the movie. I just saw the movie, literally just finished it. And I saw the trailer a few days ago because I needed some motivation to watch the movie. I really didn't have any motivation, so I got around to watching the trailer. And honestly, after watching the trailer, my interest was piqued a little. And after watching the movie, I will say they did not give everything away in the trailer. I think the trailer was crafted well enough to where it isn't the curse of these new trailers where it literally gives you the whole movie. After watching Saltburn, I am pretty excited to talk about this movie. Honestly, it is like 11 o'clock at night. I usually do not record this late. I'm usually not up this late, but I just finished watching the movie and I'm just ready to just run my mouth about it. So I will say one thing that was extremely surprising for me when it comes to this movie and my experience watching it was the fact that I laughed a lot. Like, I audibly laughed a lot, and for me, somebody who's not really a fan of comedy because I don't really find it funny, outside of my million rewatches of Seinfeld, I don't really laugh when I watch stuff. Like, I might giggle, or I might be like, that's amusing. Like, I'm amused. But I don't have moments really very much where I'm watching something and I genuinely just laugh out loud. And I had a lot of those moments watching this movie. And some of the moments, I'm not sure if that was the intended reaction, but I really enjoyed the fact that I laughed a lot in this movie. That is so rare for somebody like me. Anytime I try to go in, because I'm really not a fan of comedy, but again, if it's really hyped, I'll go to watch it. Tried to watch, I'm trying to think, what are the last comedies that were hyped that I tried to watch? Bridesmaids, meh, didn't like it, didn't find it funny. The one where the guys go to like Vegas and get drunk, meh, didn't find it funny, didn't like it. So I really enjoyed that. Like, points to this movie for making me laugh. I will say though, Saltburn is not as intriguing of a story as I thought it would be. Before watching this, I heard someone say that this movie is way too visually stunning for such a simple plot or bland plot. I can't remember which adjective they used, but I must echo those same sentiments. I do feel like, just on the scale of looking at this movie, the cinematography, how the actors are shot, certain little details in the background with how certain people and things and scenes are framed, like the scenery that's used, everything looks so freaking good. And one thing I always say I really love, I said this in my Hill House review, I love a movie that feels like the filmmakers had real intentional attention to detail. And that's what I feel like we got with Saltburn. But I gotta echo that person's sentiments. For such a visually stunning movie, I kind of expected. I can't talk, y'all. It's late. It's late. For such a visually stunning movie, I expected more than just a simple plot. I did expect a lot more. Now, if you are not familiar, Saltburn is about a student at Oxford University that finds himself drawn into the world of a charming classmate who invites him to his eccentric family sprawling estate for a summer never to be forgotten. And I also have to say, I was very, very surprised to discover this is a Prime original movie. I had no idea until I went to try and watch the movie. I was like, wait a minute. I'm very shocked. I gotta tell you, man, Prime is not on my radar for streaming channels like original content. I always say HBO or HBO Max, whatever they want to be called these days. They have an identity crisis over there, but I'm gonna always call it HBO. But HBO Max has the best original content of any streaming service for me. Netflix would be second, but Netflix isn't consistent. Netflix is either hit or miss, and Prime just ain't on my radar. I gotta be honest with you. I have been convinced to watch Reacher because somebody raved about the first season and the second season, but Prime don't be on my radar. But I see you, babe. I see you, Prime. They trying to get in there, okay? But overall, I had a favorable experience with this movie, but child, I gotta be honest, okay? At the top of the movie, I was sitting here like, what the hell is this? 15 minutes in, we had a scene where our main character, Oliver and Felix, are together in this pub, and it's like, shot, shot, shot. Everybody chanting shot. The movie was on my nerves. I gotta be real. I was like, okay, come on now, child. But honestly, I'm not the target for a movie like this, even though I did overall have a pleasurable experience. One of the reasons why the synopsis did not pull me in, and I was just like, man, not on my radar, because I don't care anything about teenagers or college students. Like, I don't care about those characters. I don't want to follow them. So this first part of the film where we're actually at the university, it just didn't pull me in. I just kind of really didn't care. But we do get some important information when it comes to our character of Oliver. We have the Felix character talking to this girl about Oliver and sitting somebody next to him, one of her pretty friends. And she goes to say, like, no one wants to sit next to Oliver. He's a scholarship boy. So that was another error to why I didn't care for this top part of the movie. And it's not even that it's not well done. It's just not something I'm interested in. Like, as an audience, we watch stories about people that are interesting for us, or that is entertaining, or that I could care less about, like, snobby, like we don't like Oliver, not because he's socially awkward, which he is, not because he's odd, which he is, not because he really gives you stranger danger, as one of the characters ends up saying at the end. No, we don't want to sit next to him because he's on a scholarship. Like, what the First of all, people with money, kids get scholarships, okay? Let's start there. But second of all, whatever the hell. I don't know. I just wasn't really into that whole way that he was kind of being treated. And then we have this, like, math whiz that Oliver first befriends, or it's, like, kind of forced to befriend. I don't know how you want to put it. When they first meet, he literally, like, I think he slams his hand on the table and yells. And the whole, like, cafeteria, wherever they were, went quiet because he's like, give me a math problem. It was so odd for me. I was just like, what is this? Like, who does that? Why are you I don't know. I wasn't into it. That's just me. That's just me. Now, we also get moments where Oliver is, like, standing in the bushes like Joe from Netflix, watching Felix hook up and, like, just stalking him. And look, the whole college world and this whole thing at the top, it was just really irksome for me. I wasn't really into it. And 30 minutes into the movie, I was pretty bored with the story and the characters. Visually very captivating, okay? I'm definitely very interested in checking out this director's previous work. Well, it's a writer-director. She wrote the movie and she directed it. And there's one previous movie she did called Promising Young Woman that I've never heard of, but now I am very intrigued to see it. And anyway, back on topic. At this point in the movie, I don't care about any of the people. I don't care about the story. The pacing feels deliberate, but the story just wasn't interesting enough. Honestly, I was kind of like scrolling my phone. I got up to get something to drink. And I always say, if you get up to get a snack or something to drink and you don't pause the movie, you don't really care. And I didn't really care. Now, something else that I was not on board for at the top was Felix isn't a very interesting character. Like, he's the character that's supposed to be rich and hooks up with all the girls, and he just walks in a room and panties fall. I was just sitting like, okay, I guess, like, I guess he's supposed to be attractive. Not my cup of tea. Like, I don't get the appeal. And I don't get the actor's appeal. I'm gonna be real. How long is this guy gonna play a teenager? It's giving Scream 3 when Jenny McCartney's character is like, I'm mad I'm 35 playing a 21-year-old. Babe, it's time for your characters to grow up. But hey, whatever. They keep letting this grown-ass man play teenagers, so who am I to say anything about it? Oliver was a character that didn't pique my interest. I just really didn't. I wasn't interested in any of the characters and what was being set up in the whole environment at the university. But once we get to Saltburn, that is when my interest was piqued. That is when I really perked up and got very into the movie. Once we get to Saltburn and we really kick this stuff off. Now, Oliver, I gotta tell you, the actor, like how I want to look into the director and her previous work, I need to look into this actor. Whoever this actor is that played Oliver, I don't know how the hell this kid was not on my radar. I don't know who the hell he is, but now I want to go watch everything he's ever played in. He won me over because I was not down for Oliver at the top of the movie, but yeah, him, the actor and the character slowly won me over. There is a moment in particular where I really was like, okay, I'm on board for Oliver. So Oliver ends up spinning this tale, which I knew was a tale, about how like his mom is a drug addict, and then he goes into how his dad died, and the way things are going with Oliver trying to cultivate this friendship with Felix, it feels so obvious for me that this is just a ploy. It's kind of like, you know that situation when a guy break up with a girl and suddenly she be saying she pregnant? Like, it's like an obvious ploy to suck the person, reel the person on in. I was like, baby, your dad ain't dead. But he's able to like get Felix, who kind of has, I want to say, like a savior complex. But anyway, okay. He is able to get an invitation to Felix's family, like, estate for the summer. And this is when we are introduced to Felix's wealthy, eccentric family, which we've already met his cousin who is at the university with us, Farley. But we are introduced to his sister, his mom, dad, all this staff and everything. And there is a moment where the room that Oliver is staying in, when he looks out his window, he sees the sister. Her name started with a V. What was the sister's name? It reminded me of the word Venetian. I kept thinking of Venetian blinds. What was this girl's name? Hold on, y'all. Okay, I don't know the girl name. I'm gonna call her V. I know, like, I'm looking at the name, but I don't think I'm gonna pronounce it right. Venetia? Was that her name? I don't know. But I just know it reminded me of Venetian blind. I kept thinking of Venetian blinds when her name was said, but I'm gonna just say V. So V can be seen from his window. He comes out. All the girl do is smoke cigarettes with badly bleached hair, which was very early 2000s. But fast forward. She's outside of his window, obviously a ploy for attention. And this scene, one of my favorite, look, this is a long ass movie. So I'm not going to break down every moment of the whole movie, but I'm going to pretty much get into the pertinent stuff and like my favorite scenes. This was one of my favorite scenes, okay? V is under Oliver's window. He comes outside and they have this little flirtatious back and forth dialogue where he's like, you're under my window in a see-through dress, like you want to be seen, you want me to come out here. And Oliver got information from Rosamund Pike's character about her daughter, because all the lady do is gossip, child, even about her own child, about how she has an eating disorder and she's promiscuous and et cetera, she's a masochist. And he uses that information, he uses those things. And this is when I started to like Oliver. I gotta be honest with you. This is when Oliver got a little interesting and a little sexy. Like the dialogue and like his delivery, I was kind of like, oh, okay. It was manipulative, but okay, maybe I'm sick in the head just like V. But when he was all like, because she has an eating disorder, and if she does eat, she doesn't keep it down, right? So he pretty much goes in, like he was very, I liked his demeanor, like, you haven't eaten today, you know, like you gonna eat tomorrow, you gonna sit at that table, you gonna eat that food, and you gonna keep it down, you gonna stay at that. I was just like, am I crazy or is this kind of hot? Like I was like, this kind of sexy. Like, oh, okay, let me eat my food, child. I don't know. I might be sick in the head. But there is this scene where they have this little flirtations and he telling her she gonna eat dinner tomorrow and he gonna tell her he finna eat something tonight. But she like, well, you know, Aunt Flo done came to town. But he just like, you think I care? Lucky for you, I'm a vampire. Yo, this is where we start to see a different side to Oliver, who before this is very mild mannered, polite, you know, kind of reserved. And this was the first time that I was kind of like, oh, okay, bro, you kind of like I see you. Now, I'm not even finna get fully into that scene yet because I'm gonna bring up another scene that I love because I love this switch that we get with Oliver's character where the onion layers start to peel back and we start to really get a glimpse into him being the talented Mr. Ripley. So, Oliver, my interpretation throughout the movie, by the time we get to the I'm Mr. Vampire scene, was that I thought Oliver had a crush on Felix. I thought he was sexually attracted to Felix. I thought he liked Felix in a romantic way. And I was kind of getting like repressed homosexual vibes from Felix. Like Felix, I don't know, I felt like a sexual tension between them. And I felt like Felix wasn't necessarily giving me like, yeah, I'm into Oliver. That's what Oliver was giving. But honestly, Felix was giving me, if you try on the right night, we might. So we end up where Felix and Oliver are sharing a bathroom. I forget what this is called in houses, but you know where, is it a Jack and Jill bathroom? I forget what it's called, but where you have two adjacent bedrooms and they are connected by a shared bathroom. So one night, Felix is in the bathtub having a little happy slapping me time. And he goes to get out, goes into his room. Well, first of all, Oliver was like watching through the cracked door, which, babes, why you ain't make sure like doors was closed and like, I don't know, whatever the hell. He's watching, you know, on his Joe from You-ish. And when Felix goes to get out of the bathtub, go to his room, the tub is draining. He took a bath. I don't know why he didn't take a shower. He took a bath, whatever the hell. I'm trying to think how to like say this on YouTube. So The bathwater is going down the drain, okay? Oliver goes into the bathroom, and honestly, I'm just sitting there like, I know he liked the guy. I'm thinking he probably finna, how like you want to sit where somebody else sat at and kind of feel they heat on the seat or something like that, like like some kind of obsessive love crush thing with someone. I'm thinking he finna like, cause he goes to like lay in the tub, and I'm thinking, oh, like whatever, he just laying in the tub. Baby, he go to like drink the bath water with the man milk in it. And I was sitting here like, hold on, like he was doing the slurping. It was very enthusiastic, okay? Baby, let me tell you, Oliver got more interesting as we moved forward in Saltburn, okay? The whole "you lucky I'm a vampire" scene, the bathtub scene, the bathtub. For me, now, I did not know before watching the movie. Like I said, I was able to avoid spoilers, which I'm so happy about. And after watching it, I went to see what a few people had to say. And a lot of people were calling certain scenes in the movie like disturbing or disgusting. I don't, am I sick in the head? I don't see it. I don't. The bathtub scene for me, first of all, necessary for the character, not gratuitous. It's not like when movies have like an explicit sex scene for no reason. And the bathtub scene for me also, why I don't think it's disgusting in any way. Well, there is a way. We'll get to that. But why the main things happening with the bathtub I don't find disgusting. People slurp things up from other people all the time. That's not shocking or disturbing or disgusting. Adults do things along those lines, when infatuated. Are we not all adults? The thing for me in the scene that was disgusting was the fact that Oliver was licking the old ass bathtub, baby, the motherfucking drain. That was disgusting. The man milk bath water, honestly, that sounds like a regular Friday night. Like, that's not. The drain was giving me like rust, hepatitis C, SARS. Like, don't you get disease from rust? Like, if you cut yourself with rust, I don't know. Oliver tongue should have been gangrene. That was the disgusting part. The licking the drain. That was this. I was like, hell no, Oliver. Is you crazy? And then when you get into the vampire scene, I actually love that fucking scene. I didn't find it disturbing. But I mean, I'm not a person that's weirded out by blood or periods or menstrual cycles, whatever you want to call it. And I just love how the scene is crafted. The dialogue exchange between Oliver and V. Oliver's whole demeanor, I thought it was a little erotic. The sound of Oliver's shoes as he's coming down the stairs, walking towards V. Artistically, I just really love that scene. And I feel like it would, in a different director's hands, it would not have worked. But I feel like it works here. There was just a movie I saw last year. What the hell was that movie? Fair Play. Fair Play had a scene similar to this where a guy and a girl are hooking up and the girl is on her period. I thought that scene, I was like, this is yuck. What the fuck is this? Because like I said, in general, I'm just not that person weird. I mean, come on now. Like, blood, period, it's not very disgusting. But the way that scene was done, I was like, y'all are fucking sick. In contrast with this scene, I feel like this scene was so artistic. It was so well done. And I feel like it was a little erotic. Or am I just a sociopath? I feel like the whole way, I mean, the nighttime, being outside, the moonlight, the way the lighting is used in this scene, the way it's shot. Look, if I text you, let's be vampires tonight, you know what's up, okay? Like, so I just feel like nothing for me felt uncomfortable or going too far or explicit or gratuitous. Like, It's not like, I mean, I get those I feel that way if I see a movie with like an explicit sex scene and everybody naked for no goddamn reason and everybody hunching for no goddamn reason and you see naked women for no goddamn reason. But for me, I feel like, first of all, I feel like the scenes, the bathtub, the graveyard, the vampire scene, it didn't come off for me as let's just put something in for shock value. I mean, that's not how I took it. Everything for me felt like it had a reason. It served a purpose. The most disturbing scene for me was Farley hair. That was some terrible hair. He needs a haircut. But no scene was and like for me, what was most uncomfortable was some of like the secondhand embarrassment from certain scenes. Like those were more cringe to sit through for me than the bathtub, the vampire, the graveyard. I actually really love those. Well, the vampire scene is probably my favorite. And it shows Oliver's tendency for manipulation, that vampire scene. Taking what the mom told him about V. And I feel like I also had the most reaction from when we jump to the very end of the movie, when Oliver rips the, like, Rosamund Pike's character's on a ventilator and he rips the thing out of her throat. I had the most visceral reaction from that. That felt so unnecessarily cruel and it made my throat hurt. But, okay, so we end up having a whole situation where Felix and his cousin Farley get into it. Farley is like the black cousin, like the mixed race cousin. And he's going on about how are y'all going to throw this birthday party for Oliver, excuse me, spending all this money on him when my mama living in squalor. And you know, why do I have to come to you begging? You know how this look, right? Because I'm the black family member. Baby, the way Felix reacted aghast, like, we never even noticed your curly hair. Like, it was so ridiculous. Of course, Oliver is sitting outside the window, listening, soaking up all this information as he does. Always a fly on the wall. Now, we have this whole party, etc., like this whole dinner. And we had a scene with this guy, like, singing karaoke to Flow Rider that I tried to fast forward through. I'm gonna be honest, I was so sick of secondhand embarrassment. But I had to watch the scene because as I was fast forwarding, I realized there was dialogue going on. So Oliver and Farley are having a conversation because Farley ended up seeing Oliver hooking up with V, and he tells Felix. This is another reason why I felt like there was some type of mutual sexual attraction between Felix and Oliver. Felix had like an attitude. Felix wasn't acting like his normal self. Felix was upset that Oliver hooked up with his sister. And it did not feel to me like just upset because my friend hooked up with my sister and I feel like you crossed the line. It felt like jealousy to me. Did I read that wrong? That felt like jealousy. I can't remember verbatim, but he goes to tell Oliver, like, you're supposed to be here for me. You're supposed to be here with me. Why are you hooking up? Well, I don't know. It was giving me jealousy. It was giving me jealousy. Maybe I was reading it wrong, but I felt a mutual sexual attraction, sexual tension between Oliver and Felix. Now, Farley ends up setting Oliver up to be embarrassed with this karaoke song, which Oliver slides it to Farley like, hey, this fits you better. You come up and sing this. It's kind of a song about the lyrics. Well, not kind of. The lyrics are about like someone paying your bills and taking care of you and doing stuff for you. And we end up where, and I didn't get, Oliver got really upset to the point that he punched a mirror. I didn't see how that reaction matched the situation because it's not like any of your secrets or diabolical plan has been exposed in any way. So I don't know why. I get maybe being embarrassed, but I didn't get why he had such a strong reaction. But anyway, all of a sudden in the middle of the night, Oliver hops on top of Farley in the bed, waking him up. And Farley is like, nigga, you in the wrong bed. Like, I think you done got mixed up. This scene was so, and I need to rewatch. At this point, I've only seen the movie once. I need to rewatch this movie. because I'm not sure what this scene was supposed to give. Like, I mean, it's not that it didn't give consensual, but I mean, and I'm saying it's not that it didn't give consensual. I mean, it seemed consensual. Farley didn't say no, stop, try to move away, try to push him off. He he went with it, but it was very odd. And okay, they end up having sex, and again, I was feeling like Oliver was a little sexy. I don't know, maybe I was sick in the head. Oliver gets on top of Farley and puts his pencil in his pencil holder, grabs it with his hand. And he goes to yada, yada, yada. He's just like, are you going to behave? This was another moment one of the moments in the movie where I audibly laughed out loud I just lost track of my thought because I was saying how Oliver was kind of sexy because he was all like, are you going to behave? And kind of pleasuring the boy. I said, are you going to behave? Don't make me ask again. As he pleasuring the guy, I was kind of like, I think this is erotic too. But, okay, now my second point. I literally laughed, y'all, I thought this scene was so funny because Oliver is on top of Farley, yada, yada, yada. And he goes to say, are you going to behave? And Farley is quickly like, no. And then Oliver is still pleasuring him. And he goes to say, are you going to behave? And this time Farley says it slowly. He's like, no. Not the way I laugh. This scene was so funny to me. But once we got to this scene, I was like, baby, I know Oliver motivation. Oliver just want to F everybody. Oliver just want to hoe around. Because he was also, for me, kind of been a little flirtatious with the mama. And I'm just saying, baby, he just want to hoe. All Oliver want to do is have his hoe out time in college. Oliver just here to hook up with everybody. And you know what this made me think of? Because at this point, Oliver done had sex with Felix's sister and his cousin. And it was really giving me, what was that documentary on? Now, this documentary was sad, but it was also ridiculous and insane. It was really reminding me of, Oliver then was reminding me of this. What was that documentary on Netflix where the family friend, he had sex with the mama, the daddy, and the daughter? That's what this was giving. Oliver trying to kiss way through the whole family at this point. I was waiting for Oliver to go flirt with daddy. It was really giving me oh, okay. Oliver just want to be a hoe. I see you. I get it, bro. So the next morning, Farley is accused of trying to steal something. They have email proof because he was trying to sell whatever it was he was trying to steal. And he's kicked out of the house. And one common thread through the movie is we don't talk about nothing. Farley kicked out and we just don't bring him up. Now, another moment where I literally laughed out loud. Rosamund Pike's character, the mom, she had a friend there, Pamela. Pamela, life was in shambles. She had been staying with the family at their house. And they did this whole nice, nasty, kicking her out the house oh, yeah, we don't want to keep you here. No, go find your flat. Go ahead, girl. Oh, I could stay. No, we don't want. No, you go ahead. We don't want to hold you here. So, this scene felt y'all, it was so funny. We're out here talking. She's talking about having to go to London. And Felix is like, I didn't know you were going to London. Yeah, I got to go to Pamela's funeral. Pamela died. She'd do anything for attention. Y'all, the way I laugh. First of all, laugh because it's just funny. Also laugh because I swear to God, I know somebody like this. And I paused the movie at that point to call the mutual person we both know to be like, but they ain't get it. You got to kind of watch the movie. But we know somebody like this. And I'm just, so that whole, she do anything for, I die. Because this person is always in, okay, we ain't finna get into it. But I thought that was so freaking funny. Now, let's jump. Okay, Felix ends up surprising Oliver and taking him home. Come to find out, Oliver left his phone somewhere. And the phone rung. It was his mom. Felix answered the phone. So surprising and takes him home. This is your mom. You got to get this straight. And this is why, okay, so I feel like Felix for me had like a kind of like a savior complex. But also this whole situation, it didn't come off as genuine concern, because if I'm genuinely concerned, personally springing something like this on you, not a good idea. But even if I did spring it, if the person is so visibly and is telling you like not reactive to this, not receptive, sorry, not reactive. They're not receptive to this. They have this trauma and they're telling you my mom was on drugs. I never want to go home again. I don't want anything to do with that place. And you're forcing them. For me, that's not concern at that point. That's kind of like when something is wrong with someone and you keep pressing them to tell you what's wrong to the point that you're just being nosy. You're not concerned. So this whole scene was basically to show us what I already knew. His dad wasn't dead. Mama wasn't an addict. He wasn't poor like he came off as. His family was like upper middle class. Like they may not have been wealthy to have like an estate. But I'm just sitting here like, but I never understand moments like this when I watch movies. And not never understand, because people do react like this in real life. But movies where you walk in and find your spouse cheating and you don't interrupt to say nothing, you just walk out. I did not, baby, if I was in this scene, I'd have been sitting here, I'd have been like, I thought your daddy was dead. I thought your mama was, like, I would have had to say it. Like, I would have. Because, look, this is too, like, you're a con artist. You're a liar. Like, that's what I would be feeling like. But I gotta be honest. As I was watching the movie and we got to this birthday party, because when they leave, Felix is pretty much like, look, it's too late to renege on a birthday party, which I kind of feel like, baby, we'll throw the party and you just won't be here. Ain't like nobody know him. But he was just kind of like, it's too late to renege on a birthday party. We'll just get through it and then you got to go home. I was honestly watching the movie like, man, can somebody die? Because I just kept, I don't know, that's what, the story is very much kind of giving the talented Mr. Ripley, is very much giving Cruel Intentions, and I was expecting murder. So I was literally just like, man, can somebody die? The movie feels too long, and I was sitting there like, is somebody gonna die? They sing happy birthday at the birthday party, baby. Don't nobody even know who the hell Oliver is. They sing happy birthday and don't know what name to insert. And I was literally sitting here like, Oliver, why are you even at this party? Like, do you have a humiliation kink? Because what the hell? I would have ran with my tail between my legs. I would have transferred to a new school. I would have never showed my face again. Now, Oliver keeps trying to talk to Felix. He keeps blowing him off. So he finally confronts Felix. And we have a little talk. We talking real close. Again, I'm feeling like they're gonna kiss or something. That don't happen. It's the next morning. And I was just sitting here like, baby, so nobody really gonna die? I thought somebody was gonna die. Like, it was just giving me, baby, somebody supposed to get murdered. Like, that's what I felt like the story was leading to. And so I was so shocked to be sitting here like, baby, ain't nobody dead yet? And we're like an hour into this? Maybe over an hour at this point. But the next morning, Oliver wakes up. Everybody looking for Felix. Like, they diving in the pond and everything. Can't nobody find Felix. Felix is found dead. And I was pissed off. Baby, y'all owe me a murder scene. I was sitting here like, baby, I sat through all this expecting the nigga to die, and y'all gonna murder him off camera? I was mad. I was so annoyed. Maybe that's the horror fan in me. I wanted a kill scene. I wanted to see somebody get murdered. Like, what the hell I sat through this for if it wasn't going to be the payoff of me watching somebody get killed? Now, I said that the vampire scene was my favorite scene. But another one of my favorite scenes is the lunch scene or breakfast scene. Whatever. After Felix's body is found, his body is literally found. He's laying on the ground dead. And Rosamund Pike, his mom, is like, yeah, we need to call the cops and we need to get out of here. It's time for lunch. That took me. I was like, I was literally like, wait, what? we have this table scene where we're eating lunch and having a casual conversation about the birthday party and the cake. And in the midst of this, I think the guy's name was Duncan. He's struggling to close the blinds, or close the curtain, sorry, because the coroner is about to come by with the body. The sister V is pouring wine and it's like overflowing in the glass. You hear the gurney squeaking by outside, and then Oliver says something, and Farley is like, "What the hell are you still doing here?" Y'all, this scene was gold. And I burst out laughing the moment Farley said, "What the hell are you still doing here?" Because I swear to God, I said the same thing right before I was literally like, "Why is Oliver still here? You was my son friend, my son dad. Get the phone." Like, I was like, and I was just genuinely just in general, I was just like, what if this Oliver here? One of my favorite scenes in the movie. That scene was so freaking good. Now, something that didn't work for me, and maybe I just didn't catch something, we never see Farley again. It's like the movie just forgets about him, and I thought that was really odd. He ends up getting kicked out when the family finds out that he did drugs at the birthday party. But I just feel like that can't be why he's never heard of in a movie again. Like, that's the line? That's the line we can't cross? I don't know. That was really weird for me. Like, the movie just forgets about him. And I just kind of feel like it can't because he did coke. Like, it cannot be that. That's really the line we can't cross. I don't know. Whatever the hell. Now, after Felix's funeral, we have Oliver at Felix's fresh grave, fresh dirt up on that mug. And I literally was like, baby, actors will do anything. Actors will do anything. I remember reading how the actor Sean William Scott didn't have his first girlfriend until he was like 30 years old because he was that shy. And I just kind of feel like I don't buy it. No actor can be shy. I don't care. Because actors be doing some wild-ish on the whole movie set, on the whole getting filmed for the world to see. Baby, this actor... Actors will do anything, child. That's all I can say. Oliver goes to the fresh grave with the dirt, strips his clothes off, gets naked, and pleasures the dirt. Has an intimate moment with the dirt. He yada him with the dirt. He hunts you with the dirt. And I was literally just like, baby, actors will literally do anything. Like, they ain't ashamed. They ain't embarrassed. They ain't shy. Like, you want me to get naked and hunch the dirt? Yes, I will do that. Like, much respect to actors. Like, I'm so serious. So much respect to actors. Because I could never have my pale ass cheeks, because he pale, have my pale ass cheeks in the air, going up and down, humping the dirt. Like, where's my ass double? Because I can't do it. Now, we end up having Rosamund Pike's character telling Oliver, like, you can't leave, you're never leaving Saltburn, which I kind of ain't feel like made much sense. It ain't like this is your son's childhood best friend that's a part of the family. And don't I gotta go back to school? But we get to another one of my favorite scenes. Oh my God, I love this scene. V is taking a bath in that shared bathroom between Oliver's room and what was Felix's room. And Oliver walks in and they end up having this conversation. This conversation was so good. Oh my God. Basically, V is like, you know what? I saw you. And you know, it starts off with a, wait, did you see him hunching the grave? No. She's like, I saw you sobbing in the church and I felt bad for you, right? But then I realized you only known this nigga for 6 months. She goes into such a good monologue about how, you know, I think she said, you know, my dad called you. He called you a spider. I don't think you're a spider, Oliver. I think you're a moth, you know, like fluttering and pounding at the window, attracted to shiny things. I thought this scene, the chemistry between the actors, the acting in the scene, the dialogue in the scene, the way we're looking at the characters, the way they're shot, the way we're so close. It was just all one of my favorite scenes in the movie. So well done, so well crafted, so well written, just superb from top to motherfreaking bottom. And she ends up, we see that she is later on dead in the tub of an apparent suicide. And I literally was like, Oliver killed that girl. It made it look like suicide. But we end up seeing the dad having a conversation with Oliver, like, how much for you to leave and never come back? I'm going to write you a check. I need you to leave discreetly so that it doesn't cause a scene for his wife. And Oliver's kind of refusing to leave. Like, you know, I don't think that'd be right. I can't leave her like this. And we end up having a time jump that felt very jarring. And I was just kind of like, so baby, you took the money, right? You took the money. Like, was that your end goal? Now, years later, we see in the paper, the dad is dead. Rosamund Pike runs into Oliver in a coffee shop, which I was literally like, yeah, y'all just ran into each other. And I swear to God, as I was watching the scene, I was like, I bet that nigga ain't even typing up nothing. Because we had him in the background, like, click-clacking on the little keyboard. And it was reminding me of that episode of Seinfeld when Kramer goes to LA to be an actor. And he's playing on this TV show where he's like a secretary. He's click-clacking away, not even really typing, but he just clacking. That's where all of them, I was like, that nigga ain't even typing nothing. I swear to God, I thought that. And then they revealed he wasn't typing nothing. But she runs into him and ends up inviting him out to Saltburn after saying she left Saltburn and got a flat in the area and don't want to be in Saltburn. They end up giving us a very unnecessary montage of Oliver flattening Felix's tire, which is how they first become acquainted. That Oliver actually had money in his wallet when Felix comes over to save him when he thought he didn't have no money. That he sent the email Farley supposedly sent about stealing some expensive plates and trying to sell them. That running into Rosamund Pike at this coffee shop was no accident. Him, you know, having the razors on the bathtub with the sister. These were no revelations. We did not need this. First of all, you don't need to hold the audience hand because I honestly figured all that out. But I also feel like scenes like this can work if it's an actual, like, shocking reveal info, piecing some intricate thing together to finally tie the story together, and it's actually revealing something to the audience, maybe revealing something that we thought was true, but come to find out wasn't. But that don't happen here. So it don't work here. And I also feel like even if you weren't like me, where I was literally like, the only thing that I didn't call was him flattening the tire. I thought that was happenstance. But everything else, I was like, I bet he sent that email. The second they said about Farley sending the email, I was like, child, that was Oliver. When a sister died, child, that was Oliver. Every single moment. I bet his mom ain't dead. Dad ain't dead. I bet his mom. Every single thing. Because it was given talented Mr. Ripley. It was given he's a con. But even if the audience wasn't able to say, oh, I bet he did X, Y, Z, I just kind of feel like even if the audience doesn't pick up every single solitary little thing, there's no need to hold the audience hand. We can infer that Oliver is manipulative. We can infer that he tried to, like, get in his best way with Felix. I mean, they even have a conversation After Felix discovers the truth, where Oliver is like, I did what everybody else does. You know, like I put on a show for you. I gave you what you wanted. Like, you don't have to go backwards and hold the audience hand and spoon feed us that Oliver is some great mastermind. And also, this doesn't work for me with what's finna come up, because I don't buy it. Now, Oliver ends up with Rosamund Pike and getting the whole Saltburn estate. And this is where I say I don't buy it. So you mean to tell me this was like a, 20-year plan? How long was that time jump? I can't remember. But he was looking all grown. A lot of time passed, okay? But you mean to tell me this was some intricate years plan where I put a hole in this dude's tire with the goal of getting this estate? I don't buy that. Oliver talking about Felix is saying how I loved him, but sometimes I hated him. And for me, that was kind of the whole underbelly of the story, is this thin line between love and hate, this obsession, this desire turning into something sinister. At the very end of the movie, we see Oliver dancing around naked in Saltburn in this mansion. And I absolutely love the song playing. It was so fitting because she was singing on to burn this house down. And metaphorically, he burned this house down. So in the end, Oliver wanted to be a hoe and he wanted to be wealthy, rich, have Saltburn, have this mansion. Overall, I would give this movie a solid 5.5 out of 10. 5 for the movie and an extra 0.5 points for having some guts. And for all those scenes that I really motherfucking loved. Farley was one of my favorites because I just liked the character, and also he seemed to be the only one to kind of side-eye Oliver and see through him, and I loved Farley's nice, nasty tone and approach with Oliver. They also had a sexual tension. I don't know what the hell was with all the sexual tension that Oliver was able to have with like all these people, because, okay, so first of all, at the top of the movie, I'm going to use a word I ain't never used in my life. I'm about to use white folk terminology. Oliver was looking like a dweeb. Ain't that how that word? He was looking like a dweeb. Is that how that word goes? I don't even know how you're supposed to use it. But that's what he was given. But when we did the time jump, Oliver was actually kind of attractive. How did they do that? But also, at that vampire scene, that was a little erotic. He was coming off a little attractive. But how was this little nerdy kid walking around like Harry Potter at 30 years old able to god dang have this sexual tension with everybody? I was so like, why everybody want him? Maybe it was that scene when he was naked in the field. I don't know what did. But Saltburn was definitely very well directed, very like amazing to look at. Great use of the actors in the front, having them the way they were framed in the shot, the environment, the lighting. Really interesting take on this like obsession. And I love how we have such wealth, but that's not the center. The center is Oliver's obsession. And I like how wealth isn't what makes Felix and his family the villainous characters. They aren't the villainous characters. And it is actually Oliver's obsession, jealousy, that makes him the villainous character. And I also wish we would have delved more into Oliver's background, because him being upper middle class, but that not being good enough. I also really enjoyed how it didn't feel like the movie took itself too seriously. It was just the right amount of absurdity, not completely over the top, but like that sweet spot of absurd, which was very early 2000s, so that fits. And I honestly feel like the movie was too long, which is becoming an epidemic. I personally would have loved if the movie would have ended at that grave scene. I feel like I would have been satisfied right there. I feel like when I'm walking away from this, I don't remember that closing scene. Oh, it was when he was running around naked dancing. Like, whatever. But that grave scene is memorable. It packs a punch. It says a lot. I feel like that ending felt very rushed. Didn't make a lot of sense. It felt like it made no... Rosamund Pike's character went from talking about leaving Saltburn, how she didn't want to be there, to come to Saltburn with me. Why wasn't it come to my flat? The time jump felt jarring. Rosamund Pike on the ventilator felt jarring because it was very much like, how we get here? Like, wait, what? And that's why, like, the motive don't make sense for me. Was the motive was to do all this debauchery, get that check cut, wait years to get Saltburn, whatever. I was also a little thrown off by the motive because wasn't Oliver's character motivation to F Felix and F everybody? And I feel like my interpretation, like, okay, sex is power, it's about domination, that's SA. So the grave scene, the scene with the sister, with the cousin, he kept saying how he actually hated all of them. So was all that sexual tension just coming off as a power play? Like, for me, it was like his domination. That's how I interpreted that grave scene, and that's also why I would have loved for the movie to end there. It was really for me screaming, I finally dominated you. And also when we talk about Oliver's character motivations, I kept teetering on, did Oliver want Felix or did he want to be Felix? I also feel like we could take out Oliver's narration in the movie. Please, just take it all out. Especially starting the movie off with that. Oh man, like cut that out. Please cut that out. I just show don't tell. Like, just please cut that out. I will say overall this was enjoyable, but not as witty or clever as I thought it would be. The parents felt very dumbed down, especially the dad. No real depth to them, which hurts the story for me. And I also feel like another reason I don't buy it is because Oliver's whole plan relies too heavily on him being able to anticipate other people's actions. Okay, you flatten my tire, you come save me with the ride, but that doesn't automatically ensure that I'll feel indebted to you in any way or try to be nice to you in any way. You could do nice things for people and they still just be a jerk. Or they could be nice and still just ignore you and not really try to be friends with you or say, hey, come over and have a drink. I don't know. It relied too heavily on other people having to do things. Yes, he had a little flirtatious moment with Rosamund Pike. One moment when he was like talking about Pamela and then saying how effing gorgeous she was. But you plant those seeds with the anticipation that she will circle back to you and give you Saltburn. Like, I don't know. Oliver ain't come off as a mastermind to that degree for me to buy that. I like how the story is told from Oliver's eyes. And for me, he comes off as like an unreliable narrator, as they say. And Oliver is on the outside looking in. He's very stalker. And it feels like as the audience, we're watching through like a voyeuristic POV. Like we're seeing things through Oliver's lens. And I like how like that feels. So to sum up the movie, It's basically about a sexual miscreant who cons his way into owning a mansion. Like, that's the story. Oh, and I will also say, when I was talking about like the parents and how that hurts the story, Rosamund Pike friendship with old girl Pamela, that felt very unfinished. Like, there was more to explore there. They had a weird frenemies relationship. She like orders Pamela out of the room when Oliver comes in that next morning. Like, why? What's with the undertones of that? With that, I don't know. I wanted more from that. But Rosamund Pike, who she typecast in my mind because I want to just see her be evil. But Rosamund Pike, V, Farley, the kid playing Oliver, talented as hell. Oliver talented. The kid playing Oliver, I love an unhinged character. But those were my favorite performances in the movie. But everybody's performance was very solid. But what I did think was odd, so Farley nor his mother comes back to contest the will or ownership of Saltburn. And when Oliver snakes his way into this family, he snakes his way in way too easily for me. Why does no one challenge Oliver at all in the slightest outside of Farley? But overall, I had a good experience with Saltburn. Definitely not like the greatest thing and like really hyped up for me personally, but it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. It wasn't perfect. I would have ended it at the grave. I just feel like if you ended at that grave, I just feel like that would have packed more of a punch. Then him just dancing around the mansion, happy he got it or whatever. And with the little, what was that, like puppet box that was like representing the family. I don't know. That doesn't pack as much of a punch for me. It doesn't express as much to the audience for me as that graveyard scene. But again, that's because I'm reading all of the sexual things as like a power play and dominance on Oliver's part. So I guess that's why the grave scene would pack more of impact for me to cut the movie off on. And I also feel like this is one of those movies where it doesn't need everything spelled out. It can start great conversations, and it's one of those experiences where as the audience, you can enjoyably fill in a lot of blanks. Man, I just really want to cut it off at the graveyard. I just feel like that would have worked so well. But let me know in the comments, how did you feel about Saltburn? Am I just sick in the head? Were you disturbed and disgusted by the big like vampire scene, bathtub scene, graveyard scene? And I feel like I'm forgetting one. But let me know in the comments, how did you feel about Saltburn? Let me know, what did you think about my commentary, my opinion? Did you agree? Did you disagree? And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.